truth is gonna change your life. Open up eyes, clear to see Christ. Ex-church traditions that limited the mission, took away the vision, causing mass division. Sent me in the wild just to gather his children. Church is not a building, truth needs revealing. Fivefold ministry purpose is to build the body, make kingdom kids. Kingdom kids, kingdom kids.
Come on.
Kingdom kids.
Come on. Follow me. Follow me. Follow me.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Kingdom Kids, no ordinary podcast experience. And as always, we are your hosts. I'm Minister Corey Dixon. This is my lovely, beautiful, talented, and anointed wife, Gwendolyn Dixon.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all. So as you know, we've been working on our marriage series, walking this through, going through the questionnaire. Holy Spirit put some questions on my wife's heart that begins to dig into the heart and mind of marriage, of what a kingdom marriage looks like, what a marriage is supposed to be. And so without further ado, we'll get into the segment.
Let's go.
You want to start off the questions?
So I believe we are on reality because last week we were on, so the first section is beliefs, and then the second section is expectation. And this week we are on reality. I don't have my glasses on, so forgive me. We are on reality, and so we'll just go through numbers 8 through 15, and that's gonna probably take a while.
Amen. So this is what we'll do.
Yeah.
We'll keep an eye out on time. We'll work our way from 8 through 15 if time allows. Then we'll pick up from where we leave off and we'll go into that and carry it into faith.
Works for me.
So again, we just ask that you be honest, you be open, you be led by God. We're choosing to do ours in front of you all. No filters, no hole punches, no hole bars. We're just going to give you the real.
Yeah. First time answering.
So you want to answer? You want to answer first?
I'll ask.
Okay.
So number 8 is, what emotional, spiritual, or relational baggage did you bring into your marriage or relationship?
Pass.
So yeah, that's it's starting to get heavy, and I want to first, before Corey answers his first, thank y'all so much for taking the Q&A and submitting them. We're still getting them in. Y'all still have time, because if you have it, you see what number we are on. So super excited about where this is going and leading us, and kingdom marriages. So Corey, go ahead now.
I brought them all. What emotional, spiritual, and relational baggage did you bring into your marriage or relationship?
Start with emotional.
Emotional baggage that I brought into the relationship. So when we met, during the time we met, I was going through a grieving process. I had lost my mother, lost my grandmother. What would have been the time I lost my firstborn son. I was transitioning from prison. I was trying to enter the workforce as well, trying to pursue dreams at the same time. So I had a lot of things going on, and emotionally, even though I was grieving and I was able to function, I don't think I was grieving well. Because there were a lot of late nights, there were a lot of pop bottles, there were a lot of dark things that I participated in, just trying to get through day to day. So there was a brokenness there. Even though some of the things died down, there was still that incompleteness with me. As well as spiritual, some of that emotional carried into the spiritual realm as well. I won't say I was angry at God, but I didn't fully understand everything. But I was trying. I understood that it was a part of life, and at the same time still dealing with feeling that it felt unfair. thinking that I wasn't ready. I had the support that I needed to be able to get through all of that. So, and again, that's spiritual. It was like, I don't think I had strength, but I didn't think I had enough strength. You know what I mean? I had enough, some clarity. I didn't think I had enough clarity. So I almost felt like God wasn't giving me what I needed, to be honest. Relational baggage, and again, that ties all into the emotional and the spiritual baggage. Relationally wise, I've never been good at relationships. No matter what that relationship was, mother, son, brother, I just never been good at relationships. I've always felt different, and I didn't fully understand myself, and so I would have a tendency to pull away, to hide, and then not really trusting people to have my best interests at heart, whether they did or they didn't. I just didn't trust them to.
Mm-hmm.
So that carries on into the marriage. So at the first sight of argument, okay, she don't love me the same. So I start pulling back. You know what I'm saying? I start wilding out, so to speak. You know, because it in my mind, I won't even say it's been my experience, but in my mind, it seemed like when I did something wrong or I didn't do something completely, that love was withdrawn from me. And so I had an expectation of, if I'm not perfect, love would be withdrawn from me. And so it made it hard to maintain relationships that way.
Okay. That was a really good answer.
Yeah.
That was actually probably the best answer I've ever heard you give.
It's real, right?
Yeah.
And then hindsight is 2020.
Yeah.
I couldn't have told you that in the midst of all that.
Mm-hmm.
It was too dark.
Mm-hmm.
It was I still had some growing up to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I still had some healing that needed to take place. And not saying I'm fully healed from a lot of those things. I'm still working on relationship, because you're my best friend now. And I don't know if that's healthy or what.
Of course it is. No.
But it's like I'd rather be with you. I'd rather be with you.
Don't do that.
Ooh, yeah.
Don't do that.
I'd rather
all right.
be. Okay. But yeah. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
I love that answer. I believe that answer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I believe that answer. And I think that a lot of times it's hard to come to grips with that kind of truth because of not only how it had navigated your life, you know, in ways that it probably didn't have to go, but then also when you have to equate that to and attach that to when it's attached to other people as well.
Yeah.
Mainly because self-awareness is just that, it starts with self. So it's hard to do that and keep, you know, others out of it when you are adamant about being 100% accountable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But then I believe that our upbringing, because you spoke about a little boy that I've known for a while, you know what I mean? But you've never brought him to the forefront. You know what I'm saying? And his mindset and why. But I do want to ask you, why did he equate like doing something wrong to love being withdrawn?
And again, that's why I say I can't say it was a reality. It was a real to me because it was in my mind.
I like that.
You understand?
Oh
what
yeah,
I'm saying?
I know that.
So that's not to put anything off on
yeah,
anybody.
no, I know that.
But the way that I perceived is, that's why I don't like yelling. I don't like scolding. You know what I'm saying? It's like I tune out. You know, I shut down and then I go guerrilla. You know what I'm saying? It's a form of protection. I realize that. And even to this day, I got to talk myself through the difference of constructive criticism and destructive criticism. You know what I'm saying? Some criticism is to make me better than I feel like some criticism is just to pick me apart. But learning the difference between those two is something that I'm still learning to do at 45. You know what I'm saying? Because it came back from then. That's why I felt like small things were made bigger, um, just growing up. You know what I'm saying? But then again, my perception could be off. You know, maybe it did warrant some of those things. You know, maybe I'm not remembering in detail fully, but I do remember feeling shut down, isolated. I remember feeling those things. That's best
Yeah.
I can answer that.
Yeah. I could definitely see how, yeah, that makes sense. And then, so, okay. I really don't have a lot to say to that because I agree with that.
Mm.
I hadn't heard you both verbally say it, but I agree with it. And it makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. What
and-
about you?
So, well, I want. Hold on. I'm not done. I'm not gonna drill you.
Okay.
But there's a reality to that. And so, with all that you brought into the baggage, the emotional, spiritual, all of that, we were just talking about this yesterday. We had a session with a couple, and I was telling you that one of the things I was suggesting is, especially when you have had a lot of insecurities which are usually in untruths, you know what I mean? What part of this is the reality?
What you mean? What part of this is?
So
my
you
reality?
arrive to the reality of this is everything that you brought in. But the reality, what is the reality of that baggage? So
the reality of it is, if I couldn't love me right, I couldn't love you right.
Okay.
That's the reality of it. If I never healed from those things, you still be getting a trauma response. You still be getting the child. You know what I'm saying, rather than the man. You know what I'm saying. So that was the reality of me having to realize that, and it even tie in some of the answers looking down here as I'm looking at the list, which I'll wait for. But I knew I wasn't doing myself any good, or you any good, if I didn't heal from these things, if I didn't sit before the Lord and lay it all out before Him and ask Him to heal me. And again, it wasn't a blame game, because the truth of the matter is, life is messy. We all suffer trauma to one degree or the other, and that's just because of sin in the world. Some of it was self-inflicted, and then again, some of it was maybe perception. Who knows? You know.
Yeah, I love that answer. Thank you. So the question again is, you want to ask me the question?
What emotional, spiritual, or I did and. Okay, so you got to do and too.
No, I don't.
What emotional,
Read it.
spiritual, and relational
Or.
baggage did you bring into your marriage or relationship?
Or.
And.
If you guys have the Q&A, it says or. So, but I don't mind answering them because it's probably all. So emotionally, I would say that I brought a lot of. I wasn't emotionally intelligent, you know. Still have to lay that before God on many things. I began my adulthood and being a parent very young, and so certain emotions and went through a lot, especially like being a lot of betrayal when I was younger and in those relationships. And so I didn't realize that it actually just trickled over into a false sense of strength. I got louder, just really more boisterous in the dark things that didn't prosper me, but kept me in bondage, if that makes sense. And I never took the time to actually feel, because I felt like feeling would stunt me, my what I had going on and what I needed to do as far as providing for my kids. So I didn't have time to stay in a lot of those emotions and process that, or even get the resources to process that.
You didn't feel like you had time, or you?
I didn't have time. In my mind, that was my reality.
Did you feel?
Yeah, that was my reality.
Okay.
I didn't have time to feel.
Right.
That I felt it,
But you didn't. In your mind, you didn't have time to deal with it.
I didn't have time to deal with it, process it. Like I said, gain the actual tools, get the resources to know how to work through that intellectually. Does that make sense? So those are things that I brought in, because I realized that, it was just, I trained myself to just keep moving forward. You know what I mean? Keep moving forward. It started with, I have little people dependent on me. You know what I mean? So I can't feel this, you know what I mean? I can't own brokenness. I can't, all of those things. So I feel like that's definitely what I brought in emotionally. And then what's the next one? Spiritually, I brought in a lot of I knew how to do church. I knew we went to church on Sunday. I knew that, that you go to church and you behave and you follow the rules, you follow the policies and procedures. I knew how to behave and I knew how to do church. So that was another thing that I brought in, is my tradition, my upbringing on how to do church. Not to say that I wasn't taught on how to be, but I don't believe that it was in the language that I needed to retain it. And then the next one.
And what relational baggage did you bring into the relationship?
Oh God, I think I pretty much already touched on that. Relational baggage is definitely the betrayal. I don't think I have been just being cheated on. I haven't had one that I wasn't. Some were best friends, lived with me. They parents put them out. I let them stay in my home, drive my car, and those things. They're pregnant by my baby daddy. So, and that was again at a young age. So, it was definitely betrayal, and just really I began to make excuses for the betrayal, which honestly started to that self-inflicted. I started to not value myself, but try to overcompensate for the reality of that. And these were choices that I made. I'm not responsible for who broke me.
Right.
But I had to learn that I'm responsible if I decide to stay broken.
So let me ask you this: does this tie into the emotional baggage when you said that you had felt like you had to be loud, boisterous because of unhealed places?
Yeah, that's why I said I spoke to pretty much that aspect as well, because it goes back to the first one. Yeah.
So when you feel like you have to be loud and boisterous, is that a cry to be seen?
I think it's more of so what it had turned into and developed into was more of a distorted strength.
I understand, but
right. And so in the distortion of that, the loudness, the just being very boisterous in, like I said, those dark behaviors, whether I'm cussing you out or whatever it is, it was more about me feeling like I had power, I had strength, that you were not shrinking me, you weren't belittling me, but that it actually was doing more damage, internal damage. So,
So do
that's
you
the
feel like
self-inflicted.
so do you feel like it was a cry out to be, to have a right to be, to have a right of existence, to have
Not so much of existence, but it was, like I said, it was my distorted attempt to say, I'm making you respect me. I'm
Right.
making you value me.
right.
And the whole time in the process of that, the way that I was going about it is belittling myself.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Devaluing myself, doing damage to myself, self inflicted. Now, even if you're wrong, now I've just put myself in a position where I have to stand account separately. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I had to learn that.
Right.
And that's where my mindset was, and so just spiritually having to grow, out of this, because again it started at such a young age, and then added to that, love my mom dearly, but I have a mother that she don't care if I murder somebody for no reason. She gonna still ask, well, what did they do? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So she's supportive to a fault. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And I love that about her because she has our back 1000%. However, I was that little girl that pretty much got away with anything.
Mm-hmm.
I could talk crazy,
Mm-hmm.
spoiled, did not need or ever want for anything.
Mm-hmm.
That hurt.
Mm-hmm.
There was really no boundaries. I'm 46 and I can count on one hand, if I fill that up, the times that I actually got a spanking from my mom.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Who was ultimately my sole provider and parent that raised us consistently. And so it was even that, so feeling, not just knowing that when someone did something to me, how to handle that correctly, and then feeling justified even in the way that I did it that was wrong, because I had a cheerleader.
So let me ask you this, which number 9 is, so it's part of number 9, but I'll ask it this way. What part of that can you see could make a marriage difficult?
All of it, because again, it's wrapped in, first of all, entitlement. It's wrapped in being self-centered, and so very selfish. And for me, that was really hard to grasp in our marriage, because I am such a giver. The flip side of that is I love to give, I love to serve, I love to love, I love family, all those. But it was more about not, like you said, that distorted thought process. You say one thing and I equate it to
Mm-hmm.
these other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if this is going to be a question that comes up, because again, like I told you, I really didn't sit with these on purpose, but hopefully I'll be able to get into that again, and why I don't want, because I feel like it's a question. But so yeah, just being able to put that in perspective. Short answer.
Okay. So number 10.
Mm-hmm.
What truth about marriage did you have to learn the hard way?
Oh boy. I don't want to answer this one. You should answer first. I just answered last, so it's your turn. What truth?
What truth about marriage did you have to learn the hard way?
It's your turn. It's your
What
turn.
truth about marriage did you have to learn the hard way?
So the vows, if I can remember them by heart, it's sickness and health. Better, may not be in order. For better or worse, for sickness and health, and richer or poor, all those things. I had to learn the opposite of all the good. So I was that person here for the richer, better, health,
Mm-hmm.
all those.
Mm-hmm.
So I had what I had to learn about marriage the hard way first would be, I say it all the time, at some point you're gonna touch all those vows,
Mm-hmm.
both ways.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to also learn that I think even though it was the hard way, it was the saving grace for me, and that was when we were in between a rock and a hard place, literally facing divorce, and that was where the rubber met the road for me when I had to. I never wanted to be married, but I also never wanted to be divorced, if that makes sense. And um, it's when I learned the difference in being committed to you
Mm-hmm.
when I couldn't be anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and being committed to the covenant.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I couldn't, I just fell out. I just didn't have anything um, with you, towards you. It was the covenant, you know. It really was, and the covenant, it held me, it kept me, it corrected me. You know what I mean? It put me back on the path of its purpose,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
That it?
I think.
Okay.
I mean, oh wait, one more thing, and what? Wait, tell the question again.
What truth about marriage did you have to learn the hard way?
Oh, and the most important thing, I did have three things, is I learned that marriage shows you more about you than it does the other person.
Mm-hmm.
So I've learned more about myself than I have. Not that I haven't learned about you, but it showed me more. It showed me more.
Mm-hmm.
And in the worst way, you know. But and it's still teaching me. It's still showing me. It's still showing me unhealed places. It's still showing me, you know, the things that I do have to lay at His feet. The things that I have to pray and crucify and, you know, just ask God to burn out of my heart. So it's showing me that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like a purge, a prune, you know, season that just keeps,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But it in the end, I feel better. I know that I'm getting better, you know, and I thank God for it. Yeah, yeah.
I think for me, the rather than truth, I would say the lesson, but the lesson is the truth. Going back to some of my relational emotional baggage is I got a quick cutoff game because I never get too deep in anyway. So learning not to stop engaging, to lick my wounds, get back up, and still present myself as your husband. You know what I'm saying? Wounded and all.
Yeah.
You know, having to get back up and pull the arrows out and, you know, how can I help?
Yeah.
You know, that was one of the hardest things for me. Because everything within me wanted to do the other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wanted to protect myself. So at some point, sometimes I feel like that type of sacrificial love. You know what I'm saying? And really, that mandate, husband, love your wife, even as Christ loved the church. You know, so continue confronting things, not necessarily accepting. I'm getting back up, not to accept for you to knock me back down, but I'm getting back up to let you know I love you. You got to deal with that though. But this is the wound that's causing me, and having to continue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But here I am.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's been probably the hardest challenge for me is to stay involved and not to disassociate, not to take my feelings back, not to, you know what I mean, not to run off, to stay present.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I think that it is safe to say that I believe we both have had to learn different responses.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and that does not come easy. It does not, because again, going back to things that we brought in, like you said, a lot of the things that I brought in, they were part of my, you know what I mean, like my
Survival.
norm,
Yeah.
but really bloodline norm too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Love my family. We are. Can't tell me my family is everything. Um, but I saw a lot of bickering, a lot of arguing, a lot of hitting below the belt verbally, and it was like the next family gathering a week or two later, whatever it was, I never saw apologies.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, oh well, that happened, sweep it under the rug, and so that became my norm. Um, and it's like when that was my response to you, because that was my response. That was what I knew. It was, and for you, I used to think like, dude, get over it.
Mm-hmm.
It's normal.
Mm-hmm.
And you was like, no, it's not. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got a chance to see your response, I'm like, bro, you're weird. Like, you know what I mean? Who does that? And you're just like, you know what I mean? This is my response. And so I think just learning not so much of our response, because I still wouldn't say that I have the right response.
Right.
But I know this is why it's important to know the word of God, and to know, again, when you want to be right, you'll go find that word. You'll get that word, because it is a word.
Right.
That is the right response.
Right.
And I'm not even going to say that I swallowed that response peaceful, just smoothly, but my desire trumps what I want to, you know what I mean? And so it gets me, it just snatches me back in right thinking about the response, because I know that at the end of the day, it's a God response.
And it is, and it's like, it reminds me of the man at the pool of Bethesda, when God's like, do you want to be healed?
Right.
Like, this is the answer. Do you want to? I don't want to hear what did what in your childhood. Do you
want to be?
Do you want to be healed?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is the answer, right? So that a lot of things have come that way, and that's why you'll hear me always say, I'm not taking away the truth from what happened, because it happened.
Yeah.
But it's not the all in all, because I know a healer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so turning to Christ he's delivered me over and over again.
Yeah.
And he still delivered me over and over again. And I never realized how much stuff I had within me. You know what I'm saying? And I believe when you look at him in his holiness, and you see him as he is, you see yourself as you are, but you have the desire to be more like him.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And we were talking the other day, it was just like, everybody want Christ till it comes time to be spit on.
That's what I said.
Right?
That's what it said.
But that's part of the christening. It's part of the anointing. The anointing breeds strife. You understand what I'm saying? So it's that too. But we talked about this in another podcast when we talked about suffering.
Yeah.
It's like, make sure you're not suffering as an evildoer.
Yeah.
That's something different. You know what I mean? But there's a degree of suffering and pain involved in healing. It just is.
And again, I believe that what we have to understand is, I love that you mentioned that, because it goes back to the analogy that I always use about growing pains, and especially for males. Your knees hurt, your hips hurt, sometimes your joints and your elbows hurt. But as an adolescent, the result of that is you get taller.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so a lot of what we're talking about, that is baggage. That is all of those dark things that we bring into the marriage. The beautiful thing about it is, if you allow the covenant to do what the covenant is designed to do,
Mm-hmm.
it will stretch you. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it can be painful.
Mm-hmm.
Shedding dead skin, typically, you know what I mean? It is.
Mm-hmm.
But you're gonna be better for it. Your
Mhm.
marriage is going to be better for it. And that's
Mm-hmm.
you, that's me.
And I choose to believe God with the word of God, and like this is here recently, year 10 is where I'm really starting to understand where it says, if a man findeth a wife, he findeth a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because
Mhm.
it's like, you sure?
Yeah.
You
yeah,
know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
Yeah.
But it's those growing pains again.
Yeah.
It's growing through. It's finding healing
Mhm.
within the partner, because we talk about becoming one,
Yeah.
and spoke to this yesterday as well. When you become one, you know what you're doing to me, you're doing to yourself too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it takes a level of maturity to be able to identify that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So getting back up, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Damaged and bruised, I'm still here to love you, to the
Mhm.
point you see I'm not your enemy.
Yeah.
Let's find the source. Let's
Yeah.
find the core.
Mm-hmm.
But let's have patience and forgiveness with one another until we're able to get to that place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then rewind and repeat.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was just going to say, and rewind and repeat,
Yeah.
because that's what it's going to be, even outside of the marriage covenant in this life.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be rewind and repeat.
Mm-hmm.
But collectively, I believe that it definitely is a little lighter to
Mhm.
be on rewind and repeat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because again, when we learn the good exchange of good power,
Right.
you know, it goes back to that, you know, 90-10, 80-20. You know,
Mhm.
when you're up and you're fully charged, you know what I'm saying, or more than me, then that's where that, you know, that covenant and just that partnership comes along and just kind of say, hey, I got you, you know.
And that scripture speaks to that. It
Mhm.
says a cord bond is not
Mhm.
easily broken, or a rope is not easily broken.
Yeah.
And we speak about that covenant, you know what I'm saying? That's me, you, and God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, says two is better than one. You know, if one falls in the forest, you know, you got somebody to help them out the pit.
Yeah.
So marriage, I'm looking at marriage differently that way. Definitely the blessing part of living life, doing life with somebody. You know what I'm saying? And not just somebody, but somebody that knows me thoroughly, completely.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we still go through just accepting, getting to know Corey, getting to know Gwen. That's just
Mhm.
Gwen. You know what I'm saying? Not those. I'm saying that, I gotta say this disclaimer. I'm not saying about the sin stuff.
Right.
It's the quirky stuff
Yeah.
that makes you you.
Mhm.
That makes me me.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that's not black and white sin,
Mhm.
right? It's just, you know, I might get a little airheaded at times.
Mhm.
You know, then sometimes it's like I might overload you with information. That's just me,
Mm-hmm.
right? So marriage is a beautiful thing if you can stick to it through the brokenness.
Yeah.
Because when it resurrects on the other side, it's truly stronger. It's truly better.
It is.
It's truly a blessing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, number 11. What's had the greatest influence on your marriage? Faith, family, finances, communication, trauma, pride, expectations, or something else? You loaded that.
Because these are all of the things that can have influence that I don't even think we take into consideration. I didn't load this. The Lord loaded this. I'm trying to tell you. But these are things that can influence. I think we've spoken to the trauma. And for me, I would honestly say the greatest influence would definitely be faith. Today, I can say that.
Mm-hmm.
It would be faith. Because again, we have survived, not in compared to anyone else, but what we've survived.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and again, knowing what our let's just say in the dating world,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in the world, what our deal breakers
Mm-hmm.
were. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I know yours, you know mine.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've survived deal breakers. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Right.
And for me, understanding also the statistics of black marriages that fail because of a lot of the things that we've faced, trauma that we've brought in, trauma that we've caused, damage that we've caused, all of the dark things, to know where God has us now,
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, it's a miracle.
Right.
I call it a miracle all the
It's
time.
definitely a miracle.
It's a miracle.
And it's definitely
So,
faith for me too.
yeah, it's faith for me. And um you mentioned in one of the other episodes, it's just like, you know, I do feel like, and we still, it ain't always peach green, you know, but I feel like we have literally finally gotten in that, like, the honeymoon phase. But it's like, okay, even when you make me mad, you know, when you frustrate me, when you upset me, whatever it is, um, it doesn't hit the same. So I know that I've gotten over a certain hump, you know, that was stunning my growth in becoming one with you.
I think it's also you finally forgave and released some things too, because it's usually build. You know what I'm saying? It's like that build is, so it's not heavy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know, it's just not that plus this plus that plus that plus this.
But in all honesty, forgiveness plays a part, but accountability played a bigger part.
What you mean?
And I told you that, like, when we were, you know, really at the point of, okay, we're done. And I sat with God and I asked God, like, you got me on this, right? You know, I'm right?
Right.
And God's response to me was, if you can tell me you're 100% right. Now, this is where I had a growth spurt.
Right.
Because in my mind, I was right. If I didn't do what you did, then I'm right. And we see that in a lot of relationships and a lot of marriages. We try to measure wrong by not by what we've done, but by what was done to us.
To justify what we do.
To justify what we do.
Right.
But God didn't see it that way.
Right.
So He showed me, still my son, I love him. Still my daughter, I love you. Now, in God's world, if it ain't right, it's wrong. And so, can you tell me you're 100%? And I'm telling you verbatim. I've never switched up on telling you this or anybody this. He said 100% right. I'm like, well, what that mean? Like, I didn't know what 100% meant. I wasn't.
Right.
I wasn't. And so it was the accountability that I really had to own what I had done.
Right.
Not in comparison to.
Right.
But that if it's not right, it's wrong. You know? You want me to, this is me and God's conversation. Basically, you want me to ride with you on this. You know, but you're not right either.
Right.
And that was it for me. I was like, good God. So, yeah, I wrestled with that, but I heard Him clear, you know. And I thank God that I was obedient to what I heard, because, again, that's where I got out the window, you know, and I was able to get in the mirror, and it was just like, ugh. You know, I dislike more of what I saw and heard about me than what I was under the just being under that just bondage of victimism. You know what I mean? Where I was so much of a victim that I couldn't realize, you know, when I was actually also the abuser.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And so that meant more to me, because we don't consider a lot of times the very thing we don't want someone to do to us, we do.
Right.
But because it's packaged differently or it's delivered differently, you know what I mean? we don't recognize it when it's
Mm-hmm.
when it's being projected.
Right.
We only recognize it when it's being received.
Right.
And so yeah, that was my. I'm sorry, long answer, but I had to.
No, you fine, and I agree, and I can't really add to that. It's definitely been faith for me, and through my answers, I think that's clearly seen.
Yeah.
And one thing about me is, again, going back to husbands love your wife even as Christ loved the church. What a husband, my ideal of a husband is Christ.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my ideal of manhood is Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm asking my rabbi, I'm looking at his life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so I try to align to that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I mean? Christ had emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Christ he cried.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Every day wasn't the best of days.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So that's where I get my cue from, and how to bounce back, because if that's the mandate, husbands love your wife even as Christ loved the church, that means he's a husband.
Absolutely.
Because there's no way you can mandate something that you're not.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I try and get my cues from,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the faith that brought me back to,
Yeah.
just like you said, get out the window, you know, and get in the mirror. Okay, now I gotta look what's going on inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Why am I temperamental? You know, why am I too emotional?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to get to a point to where I said, God, if I was just for real, it's just like, if I lose everything, long as you get me together, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so that was the point that I got to,
Mhm.
because it's like, I don't want to be this way no more.
Yeah,
But that's owning my stuff too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was me. It wasn't like, look at Gwen, look at what she doing. It was just
Mhm.
like my reactions, like all that is like, Lord, it's wrong, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be bound to these things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to feel like it's an option for me. Like, whatever places, whether she change or not, change me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And I remember that feeling that day that actually became the pivotal moment for us. And that was when it was just like, no more. Not that I didn't see you or care. I prayed, I gave you to God, and it was like, hey, but it was like I had to move forward in what He was showing me, and what grounded me and what kept me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, I'm doing this, you know what I mean? And it was the first time I was actually moving without, one of those.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Is he watching? Does
Mm-hmm.
he see me? Can he hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Is he behind? I didn't. I really didn't. It was just,
Mm-hmm.
my eyes on him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the best feeling ever for me. Just eyes on him,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I would encourage everyone to have that perspective. Keep your eyes on him, because we have to remember that he's big enough. He's God enough to do a work on everybody. A lot of us, again, with the God complex, we want to worry about everything else. But the meat and potatoes, you know what I mean, core is always going to be you. Once you allow God to get you together, if you look at the flyer that I created, it's a mirror. And you will eventually begin to see yourself in your spouse. But then there's a faint cross, you know what I mean, in that mirror as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's that 3-strand cord.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when you were describing that was the intention behind me creating that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what that represents.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, my image is your image, but our image is Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think we answered 12 and 11 at the same time. It says, what has been your greatest blessing in your marriage?
Yeah.
But just in case you got something else, what's been your greatest blessing?
You, because you have been the lesson that the blessing is in the lesson, and you have been the lesson. You know what I mean? And ultimately, the blessing is it has drawn me not only closer to Christ, um, because of your calling, the calling on your life, me holding to that from day one. You know what I mean? No matter what I saw, me holding to that, just being able to arrive to be able to just receive that, which is the teacher you are. So learning from you, and not just the you know, just learning from you, allowing Christ to teach through you, show me. So everything we just mentioned, you're absolutely correct. We answered.
Yeah, and I would say, not just because you said it, but agree, it would be you. It would be just the relationship that we formed. You know what I'm saying? I come from to where we are now. And again, like I said at the top of the segment, is you're my best friend. You know what I'm saying? And I've had best friends, but not like this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I get to love you. I get to be in your presence every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get in your skin.
That's me.
Yeah. So, and that's dope to me. Again, and it's also a testament to what God's doing in my life, because I told you that relationships I'm horrible at. So your patience.
You have been.
Yeah, I've been, and your patience, you know what I'm saying, speaks volumes into why I still have the opportunity to maintain one, to nurture one. You know what I'm saying? And so that means a lot to me.
Oh, Ben. Okay. Well, do you want to get? Okay. What was?
Where we at on time? We're on number 13.
So 13 says, how has emotional intimacy changed throughout your relationship? Oh man, we can answer that one, and then we can answer that one.
It's changed as I've been healed. Because if I'm not always at the center of everything, then I could see you. You know what I'm saying? But that damage and that trauma, you can't see past that. So the more, in my opinion, that I become healed, the more I could be more caring and feeling and intuitive of what you're going through. Because I'm out the way.
I'm going to pull a you on you. So, with that question, how can you recall different ways that you handled emotional intimacy before and now?
Again, like I said, it was hard to emotionally attach to somebody because my emotions were so big. You know what I'm saying? So being able to deal with my own things makes me able to be present to feel what you're going through. So that's the thing. Being healed, then you can identify brokenness, and you know how to heal brokenness. So that's the difference now, is being able to identify, not only identify, but attempt to bring healing to it rather than making it worse.
I feel like I noticed a difference in I feel like you used to be sexually emotional. Does that make sense? Rather than dealing and having those hard conversations, I was able to tell that in how you responded sexually. Does that make sense? And I would rather have the conversation, and you had it that way, and it frustrated me so bad. Now you'll have that conversation, so that the intimacy is there in that space where it needs to be. Does that make sense?
Right.
So like I couldn't it frustrated me because I felt like that was your language without the words, you know. But I'm a talker. I talk therapy works for me, and so talking things out work for me versus, you know, we're just gonna kind of like it goes back to let's go back to that what was it, the first question in this section number 8, the baggage I broke, you know what I mean, that came with me. We're not gonna apologize. We're just gonna sweep it under the rug. That's what that felt like for me. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so
if
now
it makes sense to you, you know what I mean.
And so no, I mean, does it make sense to you the way that I explained it?
It does, but you know, I never would have looked at it that way because that's why I say if it makes sense to you and you could see that, then it makes sense to you.
Yeah. And it's like now though, that's why now my answer to that would be that, but it's now being able to have the conversation, or just you hear me say I need to talk this, you know what I mean, through you hear me. Now that's why I'm like, I want to be in your skin, you know what I mean. You at work and I'm just like, come on. So it's that for me. And I know it might sound silly, but that was a really great resolve for me and change for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's a form of acceptance too. You know what I mean? And everybody want to be what they accepted. You know, what they heard. You know, and that's why I ask if that's why you felt like you had to be boisterous just to be heard. You know what I'm saying? And I told you before, it was like it don't take all that. Just tell me what you feeling.
Yeah.
You know,
you had to hear.
Happened.
You know, and again, the way that you were hearing was also guarded because like of what you said. It's like, you know, correction was translated differently,
right,
as rejection.
Right.
And so until you could hear that I'm not rejecting you, I'm loving you by telling you what's in my heart, what's in my mind, so it doesn't build a rack.
Right.
And then we keep exploding.
Right.
So just that growth alone, for me, it really, really changed the level of intimacy. And I'm not just a big heavy sex person, let's be honest. You know what I mean? Intimacy is so many different things for me. It's starting literally over the phone. You know what I mean? In the morning, just the conversations on the back patio and, you know, just sitting down, chopping it up. Maybe we're not talking, we're just watching a movie. Like, that I really, you know, all of that for me.
Right.
But just being able to hear you repeat back to me what you heard and you nail it, good God. That's it for me.
And I think it's two-sided, it's twofold. Like, your love response is to tell me. My love response is to hear you and put into action that I heard you. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the two-sided thing of speaking the truth in love. Because I love you, I have to tell you this. You know, but the response is going to show if I love you or not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How do you receive the truth?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we almost done.
Well, yeah. Let's go ahead and knock out 14, 15, because I got to work. But let's do this.
When conflict arises, do you seek to understand or you seek to win?
I can say today to understand, but baby, that has not been my story. Okay, it was always to win, to conquer. Okay, and that's the truth. Again, love my family, and that's one of the beautiful two-edged swords, I'll say, that I was raised with. Men and women, just gorillas, you know. And then, but I was raised with a lot of confidence. I was raised to like my I never lacked compliments or, you're smart, you're intelligent, you're beautiful, you're all those things.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but it was definitely your winner. You know what I mean? You don't back down. Ain't no rules in war. All that,
Mm-hmm.
And so, not really having that, establishing what that looks like on, again, just in the spiritual realm versus, earthly. I just took that and ran with it. And it was just like, I used to literally say, I don't lose.
Mm-hmm.
And what that meant, and for me, that was an affirmation to myself that by any means necessary.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had to rip your soul out your body, I did that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? By any means necessary.
I
And it
just don't
costs me.
understand that. It's just like I said, especially one who's been, again. You heard me say it again. I've been horrible with relationships. I just never liked conflict,
Yeah.
and so wanting to win was, if that keeps the conflict going, that don't make sense.
Yeah.
It
And I
don't
don't
make
even
sense to
think
me.
that I don't, for me, I don't believe it kept conflict going, but it was the distorted illusion that someone with emotional intelligence that knew when to quit, when to walk away, when to remove themselves. In my mind, you know what I'm saying? I won. Does that make sense?
Right.
So not knowing the difference, and that's why I said the spiritual growth that I have gained, and God continues to show me and work on me. I don't even want to say, oh, I've mastered it, because it's still things that rear up, and I mean I have to evict, and it might take a little minute, and I'll tell you, like, I'm trying to evict this.
But do you see the point of how that's hard in a marriage?
Oh, absolutely, but here's the thing. Again, it's not to excuse it, it's to be, I'm explaining what I'm recognizing in the thought process as it was, again, pertaining to my norm.
Right. Get
Another,
that.
yeah.
But what I'm saying is, as it pertains to a relationship, do you see the harm, or it gets nowhere if you're not seeking to understand? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, but again, understood. I understand that. So I'm not explaining it away now, like I don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm giving you the before thought. Now, and I can't even say that now as in recently, I've always been inquisitive about the psyche anyway. So that's the other part that I'm trying to get to. Even if I did that, it was easy to come out of this once God began to show me, and that the distorted, this is not strength, this is weakness, this is actually what you're calling weakness is actually strength. So once God began to show me that, um, that's when I still to this day, right now, I'm like, why do people think that way? Why do people do this? Why do people that? Whether I'm the people or the people I came from is the people, you know what I mean? The people that sit before me now is the people. I always want to know why people do the things that they do. So it wasn't hard to come to grips with that. Does that make sense? In the understanding part, it was just a matter of seeing it from a spiritual perspective, because
But do you seek to understand or to win? You still hadn't answered the question.
how are you missing it?
You said what you
I
used to
answered
do.
it if you rewind it.
But do you seek to understand?
You gotta rewind it. I answered that multiple times.
Do you seek to understand?
Yes.
Okay.
I answered it multiple times.
Okay.
Okay, we could.
So you get, in my opinion, the conflict is going to keep arising if you don't seek to understand why it's happening. So, and conflict, I don't care about winning. I just want to understand, even if I'm wrong, because it ain't about that. It's understanding what's going on. I just need to know what's going on.
But I'm being honest about our, like, I think every question I try to be honest about, for people that may not be there now?
Right.
Because you've had the same approach of winning. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to understand.
I don't think I've always had that. I think I've been always wanting to understand rather than just have conflict. That's what I'm saying. I've never liked conflict.
Think about that answer, sir.
I'm being honest. It's like I want to understand. Sometimes even wanting to understand, you can't understand. Maybe because it's the way it's being delivered.
So,
Maybe it's like if you're hurt and it comes out as anger, I can't understand that you're hurt, even though I want to understand because all I hear is, you know what I'm saying? So I always want to seek to understand and another reason is because I know how temperamental I can be. So the quicker we can squash it, I don't have to try and keep Hulk from surfacing.
And so I think that, this is really good. I disagree with that, but I understand that you are boxing this in. So why I disagree with that, the fact that you haven't always been someone that seeks to understand and that you're not someone that doesn't like conflict. Because when you're dealing with multiple women, when you're leaving one woman's house and you're going to another woman's house, she got you on social media, she got you on social media. You understand what I'm saying? That's keeping conflict up. And I thank God that he gave me the verbiage to actually speak to one of these women and the right way, and she responded the right way, and therefore we were able to see the intentional conflict that you're not recognizing. Does that make sense? But when you box it into just, arguments, there's a lot of things outside of this that we have to own when it comes to, you know what I mean, conflict. And that's why I said I look at all things, the psyche of all things, like, if you don't understand that. And I think a lot of times this happens, especially in our culture, where you're, no matter how you're responding, whether than say, hey, for me, why do you feel like you gotta emasculate me to get your point across? Rather than do that, well, that's why I said a lot of the things that you didn't want to sit and have the conversation with, you did that with your body. You know what I mean? You went and your outlet was other women, and then multiple. You know what I'm saying? Rather than have that conversation and give it language. So it goes back to, again, ain't nobody right, ain't nobody wrong. I didn't respond to conflict the way that you did, but you still did not respond to conflict with understanding from that perspective. Can you see that?
I can see that.
Okay.
I can see that.
Okay.
And I was just keeping conflict in terms of verbal disagreements.
I know.
So again, but that's why I say even in understanding, it's even in the disagreements, you keep a disagreement until because the verbiage changed, the language changed.
Yeah.
Right here, this is wide open.
Yeah.
It's open to interpretation.
But it
then you show me, well, this is what it could mean this too.
No.
This is what I'm thinking when I see it.
Yeah. And no, that's good. It was good and healthy, and that's why I wanted to hear you out, because again, it's open because it's going to be open according to your truth. That's why I asked you, do you want to sit with that answer? Because again, a part of examining yourself, the fullness of that is all of those things. You know what I mean? Where when you think about that question, and I know we haven't had time to sit with it, so again, we are really answering these in real time. But when you sit with the fullness of that question, immediately I'm searching myself on where, you know what I mean, I have been that person, and that's why I always start with that part, and then you barely heard me say I have understanding now. Like, I seek to understand now. Let me say that. I seek to understand now, whereas before I did. The reality is that majority of our marriage, I was seeking to win the
Well,
argument.
because you spent a lot of time on that.
Yeah, I did.
You spent a lot of time on it. Rather
Yeah.
than just answer the question.
Yeah, but that's just it. You sound like baby boy yesterday. It's just like boom, 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 boom. But this is not that for me.
I mean, no, you could have been like, now I seek to
I
understand.
did, honey. You got
However,
the people heard me.
well, we'll have
You
to run
missed
it back.
it.
When I run it back, I'm gonna have to hear it because
I kept
you
saying
spent a lot of time with it.
I
was
did.
raised and we heard that
because I
the
spent
first
a lot.
answers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but again, that's my answer. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And are you seeking to understand my answer, or are you just looking for your answer?
I'm looking for the answer
That is
to the
answer.
question.
That's the answer. My answer is not your answer, but that's my answer.
Your answer is my answer, but your the depth of it was bigger than I wanted to go, or that my mind allowed me to go from reading the question.
Right. But again, we're answering these in real time. And so a lot of these answers too, like you said earlier with your answer, the first answer, which was, it's not so much that it was lengthy, but it was a truth that I've just heard on camera in real time.
Mm-hmm.
So some of these answers may be things that I actually need to spend more time with, and I'm sorry if I took too long.
So 15. If romance disappeared tomorrow, would your spouse still be your best friend?
I can 1,000% honestly say today, yes. Even yesterday, yes. All times, yes. Now, yeah, that's an easy.
What you mean by
yes.
romance? I gotta ask you, cause I hear romance, and what you talking about?
Well, I've had to learn that's not really a strong suit. You're like the guy that really needs to sit and listen to a lot of R&B. I've told you that before.
So by
Just
romance,
playing.
so by romance, are you talking about sexually? Or are you talking about
Across the board,
yeah,
just across the
so
board.
that's why I'm saying, what does romance mean? How
Yeah,
much does
it's not
it
your
entail?
strong suit at all in any lane.
I'm
of
not a romantic.
No, it's not your strong suit.
I'm not.
It's not, but you try.
I'm not.
You just, because it's not your strong suit,
I'm not.
and you get real. It's just like what, like why?
I don't know. I've just never been.
I know you need some R&B in your life.
I don't need no R&B.
Yes, you do. You need R&B.
I don't know. I think I ain't never been a romantic. I'm the romance. Hey, I'm enough. Put a bow on my head. Picnic basket.
Yeah.
But
What's your answer?
For what standpoint?
Just, are you answering it saying you just ain't never been a romantic and that's your answer, or are you saying responding to me?
So romance, I don't even know if I understand romance. You know, if I can be honest, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what's the point?
I know.
I'm being honest.
Do you remember, like, I don't even know if we were married. We weren't married. And I remember James, it was so funny. Because if they want to say it was your birthday or something, or maybe I just wanted to be romantic and I had I don't know, red light, pink light, blue light, one of the lights. And it might have been Valentine's, and I remember just like I had the teddy bear, the chocolates, I did the rose petals and all of it on the bed. And you came in, that was the townhouse in Marriott. And James was following, and then I think once you finally cracked open the door, you were able to be like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. And I'm just like, why? I want to say it was Valentine's Day. And the way that you responded to that, I was just like, are you kidding me? Because it just, for you connected with one thing, you missed all and I did that for a minute in our marriage. Like, I would try to do little things, but you just kept missing it every time. So Eventually, I was like, just forget it.
Well,
But for your
It's
birthday this year, I think you finally got it. Like, it made my day.
for my birthday?
Yeah, when the girls did the little,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, we
Oh.
surprised you because you was like, you cook, and I'm like, I was going to.
Yeah. Yeah, that was sweet.
Yeah, you got that.
Was that for my birthday?
Yeah. Even for all your birthdays, well, the birthdays that, like, the parties that I try to throw and all of
No,
that.
that was for our anniversary.
That was our anniversary. You're
Yeah.
right. So
Mhm.
you got that, and then, yeah, I think you just have a hard time receiving love, like,
Mhm.
you know, like on that level.
Yeah, I do. I really do. And I don't know why. But again, it's perception, right? Like, I don't know.
We'll work on it. Listen, we got a lifetime to work on these
I
things.
know that's right.
So we done?
Yeah,
We
that's
got
it.
through it. Oh, that
That's
was
it.
long.
So we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna get out of y'all here.
Yes.
Y'all been in our business too long.
In the
I'm just
midnight.
playing. But I hope y'all going through these questionnaires and you spending time with your spouse and you're answering these things truthfully and honestly. And we're praying that the Lord brings healing and restoration. Even if it causes a brief moment of dispute, we're praying that the Holy Spirit allow you to manage and handle that properly. For anything, it's just the spirit of truth to enter into your home, to enter into your relationship, because that's when true change begins to happen, when we're face to face with the truth. Not this fluffed up, powdery, feel good stuff, but really where we are in real time.
In real time. And I'm telling you, this is on time, more than you all know. And so people are looking for transparency, that the kind of transparency that demonstrates how to walk these things out the same way that Christ demonstrated for us. He came down, he set his divinity aside, he took on human form, he experienced everything, like Corey was saying, the stones, the heartache, the heartbreak, all the emotions. And so we have someone that has demonstrated that for us, even down to just his agape love, and his love for family, his love for relationships. So that's the attempt here, to be each one that teach one, to share our story, our testimony, and that God is able, long as desire is there. So I do hope it blesses you guys, and y'all keep working on these questions and answers with us, because as y'all see, we have not sat together and discussed these.
So we'll be back next week and we'll go over section 4, which is called reflection.
Is it?
And we've been doing the same thing. We've been reflecting and giving you real at the same time, to give you something to measure with,
Yeah.
to show you a before and after, side by side, so to speak.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Babe, tell them where they can find us.
I was going to tell you to tell them.
Okay, you can find us on YouTube, Kingdom Kids Note. You can find us out on Instagram, which is Kingdom Kids Note. Check us out on Facebook, Kingdom Kids Note. And we are on TikTok, Kingdom Kids Note.
Instagram is Kingdom Kids _.
Make Kingdom Kids.
All right, yeah.
Kingdom Kids.
Come on.
Kingdom Kids.
Come on.
Monday.
Follow me. Follow me.